What's up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of the Hoops Betting Hour. I'm your host, the big man on campus. We are here live on a Tuesday, July 20th, 2021. Hope you're all having a great day. It's time for Game 6, a pivotal Game 6. Could it be an elimination game? Maybe. Bucks are up 3-2 with an opportunity to put this series away and become NBA champions. Tonight, we'll see if Phoenix can force a Game 7 that they would have at home. And history tells us the home team wins 80% of Game 7s. We'll see if they can't force it. We'll see if all of it can shake out, and we'll see how it all goes. Spread Astaire joins us. Spread, you've been a longtime guest of the show. This could be the last Hoops Betting Hours of the season. How you feeling today? How's your week going?
Man, I'm pretty excited to break down this game, Jeff. You know, going into Game 5 on Saturday, I felt like confident that no matter what happened in Game 5, that the Bucks would win Game 6. And the last couple of days, the doubts are starting to creep in. You know, I'm seeing more and more paths to victory for the Suns. So anxious to hear what you and, of course, all the chatters have to say about tonight's game.
Yeah, it's a huge one. Phoenix had the lead 2-0. Everybody was feeling good. You know, we saw Phoenix celebrating like they had already won, but the Bucks have found something. Giannis Antetokounmpo has been a very tough matchup. Jrue Holiday's played out of his mind. He's been very good defensively and good offensively as well. Middleton has shown consistency. But, you know, conceivably in Game 5, I think we saw what both these teams are. They're both pretty even. And, you know, one was just able to knock a few more shots down. Look, the second quarter was dreadful. Okay. I had the first half for the Suns in the last game, and it was one of the worst beats I've had. They were up 37-21, looked like a horse at home. I mean, no one could catch them. They get outscored in the second quarter, 43-24. Just absolutely horrific stuff. And that was the difference. This is something that Phoenix has had happen to them. We've seen them blow fourth quarter leads. We've seen them blow a big first quarter lead. I'm not saying that when you're up 16 in the first quarter, you're necessarily going to win the game. But, I mean, to just get outscored like that is just pathetic. What have been your overall thoughts of the series? What has Milwaukee done to take the lead and win 3 in a row here?
So the defense and rebounding has been consistent. The difference in the victories, of course, has been the play of Chris Middleton. And we've talked about how necessary it was for Middleton and Holiday to step in and provide the support. And Middleton has just been absolutely fantastic. On the other end, Jrue Holiday is doing a fantastic job on Chris Paul. So I know that like in Game 4, you know, he only went 4 of 20 and everyone was on him. I wasn't really that upset because he played such good defense. You know, really hounding Chris Paul. You know, he had to be exhausted going into that. So, you know, obviously Chris Paul, I don't think he's 100% either. He doesn't seem to have the same handle that he usually does, a little bit sloppier than usual, and Holiday's been all over him, causing him problems. Devin Booker has been fantastic. It seems to me that the Bucks have kind of done what the Suns did to the Nuggets, and that's, hey, we'll let the star go off, and we're going to shut everyone else down. If you'll notice, they were giving up a lot of open corner threes in the first couple games, down to only 2 open corner threes in that Game 5. They decided to stay home, lit it away, let Booker go. And you know, a lot of people have been talking about Booker's lack of assists. Well, the double teams aren't coming anymore. They're not doubling him. They're letting him work one-on-one, taking away the other players. And I think it's gone fantastic for Milwaukee. So, kind of expect to see more of the same tonight. You know, obviously, if Booker's going to I think Booker's going to show up. He's going to be there. If Phoenix is going to win, you're going to need a better game from Chris Paul. And let's see if DeAndre Ayton has another great game, because he looked fantastic those first 2 games in Phoenix. Kind of been, you know, they've kind of been going away from him a bit. So I think they need him to step up as well tonight if Phoenix is going to do well.
They've got to have all hands on deck. We said that in Game 5, they weren't able to get it done. They put up 119 points. You should win the game. Defensively, they have not been good. The guards for Phoenix, Chris Paul. Listen, Chris Paul, this is a legacy game. This is his last opportunity, we would imagine, to win an NBA Finals. What are 2 things, or what are 2 players we remember for being great but not winning anything? Allen Iverson, Charles Barkley. You can add Chris Paul's name to this group if he doesn't win tonight. Huge game. they've got to get it done. They've got to go back to Phoenix. If they go back to Phoenix, they're going to become the favorites in the series again, and that'll be that. And hopefully they get an opportunity for that, because I have a future and I don't want to see that lose. That would be a real rough one to lose, Spread, being up 2-0. But let's get into tonight's action. Let's get into the game itself and see what we like here. Let me ask you, yes or no? Have you bet this game already?
Yes, I went ahead. I'm on the Bucks. I think they win and cover tonight. I laid the 5.
Well, I was hoping you wouldn't say that, Spread. We're trying to push the show on. That's why I said yes or no answer.
My bad.
Milwaukee up 3-2, obviously. Land 5 here. 5 in an elimination game. 222 on a total, up from 221.5. People are assuming this is going to be a bit higher scoring. They like that they saw in game 5. A lot of people always in an elimination game tend to lean under, because they think that the game's going to be slower and possessions are going to matter more. I'm on the other side. I think Phoenix comes in and wins this game. I could be wrong. I generally don't ever get Bucks games right. So, this will probably be the end. I'm going to get beaten up 2 different ways probably here, losing the future, losing a big payday, and losing the Suns in the money line. But look, I think for the Suns, they've got to be obviously better in transition. Defensively, I don't know if they have an answer. In fact, they probably don't have an answer for Giannis Antetokounmpo. But I think offensively, they play better. I think they continue to kind of build on what they had. I think ultimately, I don't know if Milwaukee's done that much more to be way better than them in the series. They had a couple bad quarters, the Suns. I think this could be a totally different series. If they don't have a bad fourth quarter, and what was it, game 4? If they don't blow the lead, I mean, again, if, but the Suns could have already possibly put this series away or be up 3-2 instead of being down 3-2. I'm just going to look at people like Bridges. I'm going to look at people like Chris Paul. I'm going to look at people like Crowder and say that they give their best efforts tonight. I think Ayton's a bit more of a factor. You're right. After game 2, he has not necessarily been the factor. Cameron Johnson finally let us down with points. He only had 60 on the night. He needs to get into double figures. I think if all that stuff goes on, which I think is conceivable to believe, I'm going to expect Chris Paul to play a bit better. I'm going to expect DeAndre Ayton to be a little bit more of a factor. I'm going to expect Bridges and Crowder to defensively give me something. I know it's not easy to go into Milwaukee and win. I know Phoenix has not been a good road team. I just think people are too quick and imagine that this is inevitable, that the Bucks are just going to count the chickens tonight and get the job done. I don't think it's going to happen. I think they'll, as they usually do, struggle. I think it's going to go 7. I don't even care about the points. Just give me just give me Phoenix straight up plus 168 to win.
Yeah, I mean, and I can't argue there. Like I said, going into the game on Saturday, I was thinking, Bucks are going to win game 6 no matter what. I mean, there's a lot of things they could do better, right? We need more 8 minutes. Torrey Craig, can't get a lot of minutes out of Corey Craig. Cam Johnson, you mentioned, needs to go back to being the player that hits the over. They need his shooting on the floor. Maybe some more campaign, because CP3 is obviously struggling with Holiday. Let's go ahead and give them another ball handler out there, because without campaign on the floor, if you shut down Chris Paul at the point of attack, it's very tough. Let's see if Monty Williams gets some more campaign out there. Booker, is he even going to sit tonight? You talked about that dreadful second quarter. When he left the game, the Suns were up 16. When he came back in the game in the second quarter, they are only down 2. I mean, that's how pivotal he was. There's nothing to rest for. No offseason for tonight, right? After tonight, maybe game 7, but we're not resting for that. I expect Booker to see at least 45 minutes tonight. So they definitely can make these adjustments. Another thing, Holiday shot out of his mind, but he hasn't been shooting that well. Could he regress back? And Middleton is another player that's been really, really inconsistent here tonight. So I definitely do not think that this is over. There's plenty of paths to victory for the Phoenix Suns. So I don't necessarily think that you're on the wrong path here. I've just I've been on the Bucks since the beginning, and I'll just go ahead and continue to ride that.
I mean, it's pretty clear to me that obviously the Suns can't stop Giannis, but I don't think the Bucks can stop Booker. You look at the last 2 games, as you've kind of alluded to. I mean, 82 points over the last 2 games, 40 and 42. Also dropped 31 and 27 in this series. I'm going to look towards his prop as well. I mean, it's high, but I don't think he sits tonight. I think he has to put them on his back to win this basketball game. And he's a guy that could do that. They can't guard Devin Booker. Okay, you look at his volume. It's been there in this series. He's shooting a lot of threes. He's shooting a lot of shots. You look at the last 2 games, 61 attempts from 2 in the last 2 games. He is taking the ball and doing what he does. He's going to have the minutes tonight. He's probably going to play every one of them, 45 or more minutes probably here, which is likely. I'll go over 31 and a half as well. I think at this point, I'm willing to believe. And look, I could totally go down with the ship in everything here. Devin Booker could put up 30. They lose. The future's gone. The plus 168's gone. It's do or die time. Could be the last show of the season. I'm going to rock with my guy Booker, who I think is one of the best scorers in the NBA. And I'm going to rock with a Suns team that just is resilient to me. I think they're going to find a way to get this thing back to Phoenix. If they can do that, like I said, 80% of the time, the home team wins Game 7. But, again, we need a little bit of some improvement. To Cameron Johnson needs to give you 12. If he can give you 12 tonight, I think they win. If Crowder can give you a little bit more. Bridges needs to defend. Take more threes. Okay, that's one thing I saw. I forget who mentioned it, but they're not taking enough threes. They were taking a ton of threes at the beginning of this series. This is a good three-point shooting team. Start taking more threes. Start doing what you do. Do what's got you here. We're on opposite ends. You're going to lay the 5. You're that confident, huh?
Yeah, but I'm going to go ahead and support some of your points. More threes. 13 of 19 in the last game. That's a fantastic shooting percentage. Why is there only 19? And go back to the earlier point on Booker. It's because they've no longer doubled him. They're staying home on those shooters, right? In the earlier games, you saw Crowder getting a bunch of wide opens. Budenholzer's let the guy know whoever's on Crowder stays with him. That's not the help for Booker because they were getting absolutely lit up there. So I do agree with you. They do need to take more threes, but they need to also work with them in the flow of the offense. They can't just throw up contested threes. And I agree with you on the Booker prop as well. I actually took a Jay Crowder prop. I like his over. And he's been fantastic on the road. And my thinking there is, unlike some of these younger guys, he's not really intimidated by the environment, and a guy that I went opposite on and I took the under was Bridges, who has been fantastic at home, but seems to disappear on the road. So those were 2 that I went for. I went over with Jay Crowder. I expect him to get a lot of looks tonight, and he's not going to be afraid to fire. Bridges has been shrinking on the road, so I took the under on his prop.
One thing we've seen from the Bucks is, and we didn't necessarily see this in the first couple rounds, even though they were able to win, the bench has been pretty good. One of the people in the comments mentioning Connaughton, he's been very good. Portis has, given them something. So they're getting some of the production that they lost when they lost DiVincenzo. But Spread, let me ask you: take out the second quarter of Game 5, take out the blown lead in what was it, Game 4, I think. Series is very even. You've got to agree there, right?
No, this series has been very even. That's why I don't necessarily disagree that you've got some value there at plus 168. I mean, it really came down to that last play and that steal that Holiday got on Booker. If he pulls up a little earlier and sinks that jumper, we might be having a completely different conversation right now. This has been a very close game between 2 very close, evenly matched teams. So when you say you have plus 168, it's kind of hard to argue that you do have value there. I just do like the Bucks at home. I like the way that they close it out, and they just seem to be such a better team at home. I think they're 9-1 so far in the playoffs at home.
That is correct. 8-2 against the spread, I believe. Very good. We're on opposite sides here. I got to go the opposite. I got to stick with the Suns. And look, I do genuinely believe they can go in and win this game. I think they've been very even. I think if 1 or 2 things bounce their way, variance comes to them. And the Bucks, I'll bank on the fact that they just don't shoot the ball real well tonight. It's something that they have struggled with for most of the playoffs, getting consistent three-point shooting. I think the Suns take more of them. And I'm going to bank on Booker and hopefully a Hall of Famer Chris Paul shows up tonight. I'm going with the money line, plus 168. You're going to lay the 5. So we're on total opposite sides here. Fair enough. I also like Devin Booker over 31.5. Look, I think if they're going to win, I'm going to go down with the ship. If I think they can win, I'm going to take their best player. That he has 35 tonight, and they win, 109, 105. Any other props you like?
Yeah, there's two other ones. I Need Money in the chat's got one of them. But Pat Connaughton, I think I've said it every time I've gone on the show, and I bet it every game. And so they just moved it. So it's been hitting every game, but it was below. It was 6.5 and then 7.5, right? Now it is 8.5. His totals have been, I don't know the exact order, but 8, 8, 11, and 14 and 14. So he's gone over every game, but they've moved it to that 8.5. I still don't think it's enough. I expect him to get at least 10%. He's been, or at least 10 points. He's been the Bucks' best 3-point shooter by percentage at 40% so far. You know, the Bucks have actually been shooting pretty poorly from three. Their next highest is Chris Middleton at 34%. Not the best 3-point shooting performance, but Connaughton has been the one consistent, and it's just one of those things where he's essentially the fourth option on the floor. They can't really sell out to defend him, so he does get a lot of open looks. And unlike Tucker last time, who I had a prop on and was kind of frustrating me because he didn't want to put it up, Connaughton's not afraid to let it fly when he's got a little bit of space. So I do like the Pat Connaughton prop. And this is another one. The last one that I'll give out is one that's correlated to kind of my idea that the Bucks win, and that's just Giannis to be the top scorer at minus 110. And just the idea that I think that if they do win, he will dominate. They don't seem to have an answer for him beyond DeAndre Ayton. He gets loose when Ayton is not on him or when Ayton's not in the game. So I like Giannis to be the top scorer at minus 110, and that essentially correlates with my Bucks pick. So if you like the Bucks, I think you take the Giannis. If you're like, you're on the Suns, you might take a look at Devin Booker at plus 170 to be the top scorer because, like I said, I think they're completely correlated.
Elimination game. Will it be one? Will this be the last show for the Hoops Betting Hour? We've been here since March doing the NCAA tournament, went right into NBA. It's bittersweet, but we might be back for Game 7, and I've said for Game 7, I'm going to try to get as many opinions as I can on that game. When would Game 7 be? I don't know.
Thursday night.
Thursday night.
That's
there
right.
You go.
Yeah.
It's been nice having the NBA into the summer. You know, we head right to the end of July. Then we have a couple of weeks off until football starts. Very excited. This guy says, what do you think of Phoenix money line? You must have just joined. I like Phoenix money line. I would highly advise rewind and listen to the whole show. We kind of talked about that. So you're going to go Bucks -5. You like some of the props. Why don't you just list off what you gave out, Spread, just as a kind of a wholesale thing.
All right, Bucks -5. Jay Crowder over 11.5. Mikal Bridges under 10.5. Pat Connaughton over 8.5. Giannis to be top scorer -110.
Yeah, I'm just going to go Suns plus 168. Booker over 31.5. Going down with the ship. I could lose it all tonight as far as the future and everything. So we'll see. Futures are what could have been sometimes. You don't really lose any money because the futures, they're not a ton of money you're putting out there. But the prospect of a whole lot is gone. So It's like thinking you hit the lottery and then you realize, oh, wait, it's 21, not 11. I don't know. It sucks. So we'll see.
Hey, Jeff, so I got a question for you. So, I was on Twitter this morning before I jumped on, and a lot is being made of the referee assignments with Tony Brother and Scott Foster. Do you put any into this at all? Do you think that it's a big deal, or does it just?
I do. I think it's been pretty clear over the years that, and look, people like Tim Donaghy and Monty not Monty McCutcheon, Bavetta, some of these different guys. There's been stories that have come out that they didn't like certain players. Do I think it's pathetic that Scott Foster's doing these? I don't know. Like, I guess the NBA just does this to troll people. I don't know. Like,
I would think so too. Like, why is he still involved? Like, when we know there's so much controversy there, like, why wouldn't we just want a nameless, faceless referee, right? I mean, why would we bring in the guy that's almost like he's like the poster child for NBA malfeasance in officiating? I'm just surprised that they're using him.
Shout out to this guy, Julian Edlow on Twitter. He follows me. I follow him. Shout out to him. He put out a tweet. This is incredible. I was pretty interested in backing the Suns to extend the series to 7, but the Scott Foster news makes it almost impossible to bet. Chris Paul has lost his last 12 games with Foster as ref. If quick research is correct, CP3 is 0-12 against the spread in those games as well.
Yeah, and Chris Paul actually specifically mentioned it. He actually, the reason people know about that stat, he mentioned it when they were 0-11 in the press, and I actually thought it was a fascinating idea. I mean, this guy's the head of the Players Association, and he's calling out bias in refereeing, and so I mean, it's one thing if I'm at the bar and some drunk guy lost a bet and he's telling me the officials are biased, right? But when the head of the NBA's Players Association is saying something, right, kind of picks my antenna up a little bit, right? I mean, I have to put some credence in it. I mean, this guy is in there doing all the negotiations. He's a big part of the CBA. I'm really surprised. It just seems like it's just so easy to avoid this, right? You get 3 guys that we don't. There's only 2 names that I really know of referees, right? Scott Foster and Tony Brothers, and then this year I learned Zach Zarba because he did that funny little thing. He did that funny little move, right? And so everyone knew him on one of those play calls. But,
hey, listen. There's a school right near me, Millersville. Ashley Moyer went there. She's a ref in the NBA. I saw her play college basketball. She's good. She's a good ref. Throw her in there. Like, why? Yeah. Why the hell are we throwing these people? What do you expect to happen, man? It's pathetic. Yeah. 0-12. That's wild, man. And
it's just too bad because it's going to overshadow it if he does lose, right? Yeah. I mean, it's going to now we're going to say 0-13, right? Rather than just talk about, hey, this could be Giannis's moment, Giannis's coronation. Of course, we'll give the Bucks credit if they win, but it just seems like it's an unnecessary cloud to put over the game that just needed to happen. And just so David, I see David, doesn't have, he's working, he's trying to listen. I prefer the under here. If I were to bet it, I'm not going to get involved pregame. Maybe if there's a quick start, I'll bet a live under if it gets up to like 2:30. I lean the under. Do you agree there on the total?
I've said before, totals are very tough to bet, particularly in the NBA final. I lean over, frankly. I mean, I think both offenses have had, I thought that was a pretty good indication last game. I think we see, Giannis do what he does. Transition would be good for them. I think you take more threes if you're the Sun, but I have nothing on the total. I'm going to pass on that. Couple other things before we wrap it up. Cam Akers, torn Achilles, going to miss the 2021 season. Listen, okay, I'm going to just say it now, okay? Whether you respect me or not in the NFL, it's my second best sport. Obviously, it sucks, but can we stop acting like this is like the greatest running back ever? I mean, it's a bad injury, surely, but I mean, the 600-yard runner last year. I mean, Darrell Henderson's pretty good as well, though. I mean, obviously they're going to have to go out and add someone, and you always want your top guys in there. But I mean, this guy. Here's the story about Cam Akers and why it's such a blow to the Rams. Okay, I hear you, but it happens. Injuries happen. Luckily, they have a guy who ran for more yards than him last year, right in the backfield. And they'll add someone else. So it's all good. I still like the Rams. I'm still very high on them. Doesn't change my tune on the Rams. So that definitely sucks. But I think Darrell Henderson is ready for a lead role. By the way, Darrell Henderson had 5 touchdowns last year. Cam Akers had 2. So, look, Henderson will be fine. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah. Cam Akers, I think the reason it's a big deal is because he was like a top 10 pick for fantasy football.
Yeah.
But if you're just handicapping the NFL for how much it wins, I mean, how much does that lower my expectations for the Rams season? Like maybe 0.05%, right? I mean, obviously it's not good, and he showed flashes of talent, and I was pretty happy. I actually stashed him in fantasy last year, and I know why people like him because he played really good towards the end of the year as he kind of figured out the NFL. But overall, it's not really that big a deal to NFL futures, right?
This isn't like Alvin Kamara or like, you know, like one of these really good running backs in the NFL. It sucks for sure, but I mean,
it sucks for fantasy, but in reality, right, as people who handicap the NFL, we know that running backs affect our handicap the least, right? I mean, and the left guard goes down, I'm off a game that I might have already bet, right?
Sure.
The running back goes down, I'm
Yeah.
not changing at all. And in fact, if the
Yeah.
line moves in my favor,
Exactly.
I might double down and place another unit on the bet because I'm going to get all this extra value from all the fantasy football players who go, oh, we're missing 120 yards and 2 touchdowns, not realizing that the level of replacement, because all the best athletes play running back when you're a kid, right? You just give the ball to your running back, you score. So there's a reason that the drop off is in that. There's just a huge available talent pool. We see guys come in that are undrafted and dominate the league because that's just how running back is. So I
Does Well, let me ask you. You look at the depth chart. After Daryl Henderson, they don't have much. Do they call their old friend Todd Gurley, who's a free agent?
oh
Uh,
wow.
that's possible. A couple of the running backs on the shelf right now don't have a team. TJ Yeldon, LaShawn McCoy, Adrian Peterson, Frank Gore, Le'Veon Bell. There's plenty of guys out there. Okay, this isn't the end of the world, folks.
No.
Okay, forget about it. But they'll get someone in there, and everything will be fine. Is Scott Foster as a referee scare you off? Yeah, it's not helpful, but streaks are meant to be broken. Hopefully, and look, this is the NFL. This is what they do. I mean, they then they get surprised when NBA refs do stupid stuff. I mean, well, you have some of the worst refs on earth. So yeah, we'll see. Does it scare me? Sure. I mean, of course it scares me, but what are you going to do? I think the Suns extend it. Again, streaks are meant to be broken. Spread Astaire. You can find Spread Astaire on Twitter at Spread Astaire. Spread, what do you got going on right now? What do you got going on the rest of the summer here?
Yeah, so I'll be doing the live show on the Run Pure Bets channel tonight. We will be watching the game tonight, with some general sports talk in between. Hopefully, try and find some live angles. Like I said, the main thing I'll probably be looking for is a live under off a quick start. And then starting next week, I've been doing an NBA show on the Run Pure channel. I will be transferring over to doing a tennis show. Probably not daily, probably looking at about 3 times a week. And right now I'm going through trying to figure out who the guests are going to be and what will be the best time for everybody to get the information. I don't know if I want to do it really early in the morning or if it'd be better to do it the night before. So we're working through the logistics on that stuff. Go ahead and follow me, and I'm going to figure out the best time to do the show so I can give out the plays and people will still be able to watch the show and then get on the plays and enjoy some of the tennis this evening. And then the one thing, Jeff, that's really throwing me off, and I'd love to get your opinion on this, is the Olympics going to happen? Because I was planning on doing Olympic tennis as a big focus of my show. This morning I read a report that they're considering canceling it. Have you read this report? And do you have an opinion or an idea of where this is going?
It continues to mystify me as to why all this stuff is such a problem. Vaccinate these people and move on. Why are we still dealing with this stuff?
Yeah.
Like, why? Why are we still dealing with this? Can you explain that to me?
No, the only thing I
If
read
you
was
want
that
to
Japan
represent your
didn't want to.
country, you got to do
Yeah.
it. It is what it is.
What I read was one of the issues that Japan had was they didn't want to use their vaccines. They wanted to develop their own. So they're way behind on the rollout
You know
compared
what?
to like America and England. And
You know what I'm sick of? You know what I'm really getting sick of? Everyone's got to have an opinion. Everybody's going to do everything the hardest way possible. Just put jazz at people's eyes and move on. There's nothing going to happen to you. All right? I'm sick of this. I'm sick of dealing with this because of these nimrods that always have to have an explanation about everything. I don't want to get a vaccine. I'm scared. Shut up. Then go on an island and go away then. Stop bothering me because you're affecting me. You're affecting my family. You're affecting everyone else. And I got to worry about you. Why are we worrying about these people still that don't want to get a vaccine? Why are we worrying about them? Can you explain that?
no, I can't.
They don't care about us. So why do we care about them?
I'm just, if it gets canceled, I don't even know. I mean, how does that shake up?
Why is it
the
getting
sports
canceled though? People have it or something.
I don't know. So yesterday the news was Toyota pulled out a sponsorship, which kind of gives you the attitude of the people of Japan towards hosting the Olympics. And their idea was, hey, we don't want to be involved in this. We already paid the money and we're not even getting the money back. Just don't show our ads. Then today, the head of the IOC for Japan said, hey, cancellation is is something that we're talking about.
At what point did they just say, we're just going to do it or not? Like,
I mean, doesn't it start Friday? I mean, they got to make a decision pretty soon, right?
yeah.
I mean, aren't our guys already over there? Like, as far as because I know that Zach Levine didn't make it. I know that Bradley Beal didn't make it. And we only sent 8 guys over as far as, the Olympic basketball. They've had problems with the gymnasts, I guess. One of the gymnasts, not Simona Biles, not the one that we all know and, is probably the greatest one we've seen since Mary Lou Retton. Yeah,
look,
I'm not really sure what to make of it.
I'll also say this. Let's say they cancel it. Who cares? I couldn't care less, frankly. I mean,
it'll just be 2 weeks of content that I'm not going to be doing.
Yeah, well, that's true. I mean, I hope for your sake they have it then. Yeah. And I do like the basketball, but it's not the end of the world. We'll get through it. But I'll tell you, I'm telling you, because I know how this all works. This is going to be a problem for years on end. They're going to keep dragging this out and dragging this out and dragging this out. Shout out to the SEC. Did you hear what Greg Sankey said, the commissioner?
No.
He said, we're not canceling games anymore. If you are COVID positive, something happens, you forfeit. It's that simple.
Yeah. Get
the vaccine. Stop screwing around. I'm so sick. These people, I don't want the government telling me what to do. Shut up. Shut up. I'm sick of these people, man. I'm just sick of them. I'm sick of them. They've given you no reason as to why they won't get it. They just won't get it because the government told me to do it, so it must be bad. And I'm telling you, the South, it's going to be a complete mishigas down there this fall. They think they're going to have full stadiums? All those pea brains down there, they're not going to get the vaccine. They aren't.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens, right? I mean, there have been some positives. Like I remember when the Rangers, they were the first ones to have a full baseball stadium, and everyone, including the governor of my fine state, came on and said, "This is an absolute disaster. Everyone's going to die," right? And then what turned out to happen was everyone went out, watched a baseball game, had a hot dog, ate some popcorn, and went home, right? And all these things.
Listen,
the doom didn't happen, right? I mean,
in the United States,
are still alive.
In the United States, 1 in 4 COVID cases. You know where it comes from? Florida.
Know. Okay.
State that doesn't give a hell about COVID.
Yeah.
And again, I will say this. I do not care about people that don't care about me. If you don't have the vaccine by now, you don't care about anyone else, and you're not going to ever get it. So why do I care about you? I don't have any hard feelings. I'm just not going to go out of my way to change my life because you didn't get the vaccine. We have to protect. Why do we? I don't care about those people. They don't care about me, so why do I care about them? I did my job, right? I went out and got the vaccine. I wore a mask for a year.
Yeah.
Right? We'll see. I still think it's going to be a mess. You got Cole Beasley saying that he'll get the vaccine if Pfizer pays him to get the vaccine. You got people like that who they're going to ruin the whole NFL season for everybody. Watch. The people like Cole Beasley are going to ruin the whole season.
I personally think they're going to be okay regardless.
But what do you? How though? So what if Cole Beasley gets COVID in December?
Then he should just sit out a game, or just sit out.
But you'll have to contact tracing with everyone. Here's an idea: just give everybody the vaccine, and if you don't get it, you don't play. It's that simple.
Well, I think that's what they're pushing for, right?
Well, they should,
because the way they set up the rules is teams that are a certain percent vaccinated, and I think it's 85 or 88%, they have a whole different set of rules as far as the locker room, the training times, right?
Yeah.
And this is where, and I wouldn't even know about this. My buddy who came over and was working out with me yesterday was telling me, Michael Irvin, I guess, went off on the Cowboys and saying, hey, you guys don't want to win then. Back in my day, we would put anything on our body in order to win.
I'll tell you this. I heard a similar opinion I listen to college sports radio on Sirius all the time. Mm-hmm. I like their shows. A lot of good stuff on there. That's what one of the people was saying. He was saying, like, we get it's your decision, right? Okay. You're a American human being, but you're on a different platform than anyone else. You're putting your entire team at risk, not only for what could happen, but you could screw the entire season. College football is a one-game thing if you're Alabama. You lose one game, you have to forfeit one game. Imagine being the one or two people that get coronavirus and affect the whole team. You really want that to happen? You live to play football. Okay, that's your thing. That's your job. That's everything to you, right? A lot of these kids. I know it's not their job per se, but now with the whole
now
NIL
it is
thing,
with the NIL.
it kind of is now. Most of them kids at high-level universities are getting cheddar.
Yeah.
So it is your job now. You know, I'm just sick and tired of these idiots, these complete morons. This guy, prime example. And then we'll go. Why am I going to vaccinate myself? Which just doesn't even make sense. Okay, Chris Levy, you selfish person. Do you know how many people have died from this? 600,000. And it's not about you, Chris. It's about the people that maybe can't get a vaccine. And those people I do want to protect. And maybe, Chris, just maybe, you're one of those people that has an adverse effect. Sometimes, Chris, if I eat a food, it won't affect me. But if you eat it, maybe you get sick. Maybe you get this virus and it hurts you, dude. Maybe you're part of the 0.4%, which, by the way, that is completely untrue. Listen, I'm sick of it too, man. I hear you. But it's people like you that we can't move on from this because of. And I know I'm probably not going to change your opinion, but maybe you're one of the people that has a problem with it. Do you want to be the guy sitting in the hospital with a ventilator and you can't breathe because you didn't want to do it? It just sucks. We're being held up. There are people that would kill for a vaccine like this. But we're greedy in this country. That's how it goes. That's that for us. I'm just kind of sick of it. Spread. That's that. We'll wrap this thing up. Big game tonight. Elimination game. I can't wait. It's going to be fun. We'll see how it goes. If this is the last show, I thank the people that check the show out every day. You're very kind. I thank all the guests for coming on that came on. And, yeah, maybe we'll see you guys in the future. If we're not and we're back game 7, we'll have Spread, I'm sure. We'll have all the other people joining us here, and we'll get an opinion on game 7. Let's see if we can't force one. I know Spread wouldn't exactly be mad about it. He would lose his bet, but it'd be another game that he could try to attack. Spread, good to talk to you. Good seeing you. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jeff. You know, maybe we'll have another one, maybe not. But if not, you know, thanks for having me. This has been a great fun being a part of this show. Great content, and you know what? We managed to do pretty well. You know, we didn't win everyone, but we won more than we lost. So thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming on, and thanks everybody for checking out the show. Either we'll see you or we won't here on Thursday. Have a good day. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.